What's going on, YouTubers? Welcome to another video. Today we got the Weta Cave Troll. If you remember, I did a video preview on this about 8 months ago. That's when they showed it off. Funny thing is, I actually pre-ordered it through Weta and then canceled it. Got my deposit back, basically. And then I pre-ordered it through Entertainment Earth because they did free shipping. And Weta was about $200 in shipping. And then I ended up just keeping it after seeing some in hands. I want to see how it looks. So it's limited to 500. Here's the art box. And this actually opens up. Look at that. And it talks all about it. Usually Weta does this type of thing where it opens up. So very cool art box. The fact that I have this giant opening. This is to celebrate 20th anniversary, 20 years. I still remember seeing Lord of the Rings in theater, all 3 movies. I drove quite far. I sat on the ground as a little kid to watch this movie. So I am a huge fan of Lord of the Rings. For me, I still consider it the best trilogy ever made. And then the Dark Knight trilogy would be my second favorite. So the box is a good weight, no doubt. It's not light. I got number 219 of 500. So if anyone's interested, just a quick off-topic thing. Again, this is not financial advice or anything, but AMC is about to have a short squeeze. So by Friday, the stock's supposed to skyrocket. So it could be a good investment. Just an FYI, not financial advice. Alrighty, here we go. Let's get this bad boy opened. I'm real curious how this is gonna look. I haven't seen any good YouTube videos or anything of this. I am real curious how this is going to look in person. Because some photos it looks good, some I'm a little iffy on the paintwork. Everyone who got it loved it though. Alright, the moment of truth, everybody. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. So the Cave Troll paint job is way better than pictures. Instantly, I like the paint job. In pictures, it looks very flat and bland. In person, I immediately already like this paint job. And the eyes look fantastic. They look like glass eyes. So here's the base. Not as big as I had thought it might be. This was sculpted by Jamie Beswark and Yorkie Yu. I don't know who they are, to be honest, but I do know that this was sculpted by the original sculptors of the Cave Troll for the movie. So if you think about it, they sculpted the Cave Troll for the movie, and so it doesn't really get much more accurate than that. All right. So the Cave Troll does have a little wee-wee, as my wife calls it. Let's see. From what I can tell, yeah, let's take this out. This is heavy, but it's not as heavy as you would think. All right, it's very wide. So wide, in fact, that the thing was hitting the frickin' box. So we're just gonna put this right here for now. It's extremely wide. And I don't have my Lazy Susan Dark Sides on it right now. So it's not in all the way. There we go. Now it's in all the way. So there we go. So this does come with two orcs. Technically, you wouldn't have to display the top one though. Here is his giant, like, hammer. Look at that, instantly caused it to go off balance. Granted, this table's off balance. Technically, you could display it just like this, if you wanted to. Although, of course, we gotta cover that little wee-wee of his. I'll show you guys later how that looks. And that just magnetized. So if you were to do just a cave troll, you will have an open peg right here. Granted, you could probably just get a little rock to cover it, but if you just want the cave troll, this is an option. Now, Iron Studios, actually their production, like theirs is released already. I'm surprised how quickly they got that one out. Theirs does not come with an orc. It's a lot easier to display, and it's a much smaller though. It's 1/10 scale. Now this does come with an orc on top, and this little guy looks absolutely fantastic. He has a chain, but it doesn't feel metal, but it looks metal, so. And so he is gonna go in here. Here's a giant peg. Although this is not the easiest to get in, I won't lie. Okay, that was not super easy. And then this, where does this go? Is this just, I guess it's just magnetized. Yeah, just magnetized like that, like he's holding it back. So there's that orc. And then there's one more in front running. This is obviously meant to be from the Mines of Moria as they're bringing the cave troll to attack the Fellowship. So here is this guy. Again, I'll do close-ups of all these, but these do look fantastic. And so he does not come whole. He does have two parts where the other one was whole. He comes with a sword and a shield. The orc that's on top is actually the exact same one as my 1/4 scale. And I'll show that to you guys. So like, here's the shield. And so we can, you know, just put that directly on him. You know, like that. He's basically running. I'll put him in his peg real quickly though. So he just goes in 1 foot because he is running. And then we just have his additional arm, which goes in like that. So everything fit pretty smoothly. It was a little difficult to get this guy in because you do have to, you know, it was a little difficult. You have to basically pull in his legs, do the angle, and he even comes out a little bit like that. But let's do some close-ups real quickly. So in camera, it comes out lighter than it is in person. I don't know why. It's darker in person than it is right here. In camera, and I can understand probably why all the photos make it look almost like a sand color. It's not sand, it's a dark gray. You know, like even right there, it's still lighter than it is actually in person. Yeah, so this guy, his foot comes in a peg right here, but it actually won't stay down all the way. And this is magnetized right here. But here is that orc who's wearing the helmet. You can see his sculpt. It's just like my Sideshow Premium format, because I have the PF of that exact orc. And then here is this orc who is very, very similar, although different head sculpt and armor. And, you know, he's just running in front, and the cave troll's ready to battle the Fellowship. He is quite big, good presence. You know, as you can see, he is, according to measurements, like on their website, like 3 feet wide. I'll measure him, and then about 24.4 inches tall. So we'll put him in the room and compare him. But yeah, he is not translating into camera that well for some reason. But he does have this extreme texture, you know, all throughout. It's really crazy looking, just paint job. You know, and look at this giant hammer. You can see my hand next to it. Very aged looking and weathered quite well. And here is this chain. Like I said, this one's actually quite hard. It's going to stay in place, where this one could move. Did feel plasticky, but it looks great, so it's not a big deal. And then the cave troll has this around it. So pretty easy to unbox. I haven't lifted it up just yet so we can see how it is. His toenail or fingernails, look at these. They're almost like squarish looking, very brutish, like they've never been cut. He only has the 3 fingers, even his toenails only 2 toes, same look. But check out that texture work. The face is definitely where you're gonna get that just crazy looking detail with those. They call them like resin eyes, but they look like glass eyes. They do look quite well, and the mouth looks good. Good texture work on that tongue. Almost looks like a brain. And he has some gloss in his nose, as well as in the mouth. And then the ears. And like I said, you know, they actually sculpted this bad boy right there. Check that out. So, yeah, they sculpted that. And then that's just magnetized. So they actually went all out for this. So I've owned in the past the Sideshow Snow Troll, and I sold that due to inaccuracies, plus it was a little small. It was smaller than this one. I saw the Cave Troll Legendary Scale bust in person. I really liked that, to be honest. But it just goes for quite a high price tag, so I haven't bought it. Then we have the Iron Studios one, which is a 1/10 scale. So it's 18 inches tall by like 16 inches wide. The paint and detail don't look as good. I do like the base probably a little bit more because they add some more like skulls and more to it. This one is quite simple, but it still looks good. You know, you have like an axe right here, and then broken up concrete. You know, you can tell this is like from the mines of Moria. There's like a bone right there, some broken up stuff. It does have the classic black underbase, which is what Weta likes to do. Weta is a more expensive, you know, like their products are expensive, but they do quality work, I will say, and their production is quite fast. It doesn't take 3 years. But their value seems to, you know, be pretty good. Like this guy sold out fairly quickly, so I'm confident I could get my money back at least, or even make you know, some money in the future, because the old Weta or Sideshow one goes for like $3,000, and this one's far superior. So yeah, it's definitely a very nice looking piece. I want to, you know, remove all the boxes and get some closer looks at it though now. Alrighty, YouTubers, so here's the cave troll next to other creatures from Lord of the Rings. We have the Weta Balrog, the Weta Smog, and all 3 Weta busts. I'll eventually probably wall mount all 3 busts, or at least those 2 right there, and keep Smog next to Smog. Just because Smog is Hobbit, and I want to keep the Hobbit together. So I'll eventually probably just wall mount that one and that one. We're still getting the Iron Studios Fellbeast diorama, and I'm actually probably going to be moving all Lord of the Rings out of this entire setup. If you're wondering why, it's because of Prime 1's Kong vs. Godzilla diorama. Now that thing is 55 inches wide. However, about 5 of those inches are from the tail of Godzilla. So I can actually fit the diorama right here. It's 26 inches deep, although that's only on the base of Godzilla. So it might stick out about an inch here, and then Godzilla's tail will extend out to about right there. But the entire base itself, outside of one little inch on one end, will fit. And then I could put the 2 busts underneath, the Godzilla bust and the Kong bust. Even though I feel the Kong bust is super overpriced, I can't buy the diorama Godzilla bust and not have Kong bust. So I'm going to have to cave on that. I'm waiting for the PO to go up for the Kong versus Godzilla, see the price. As long as it's under like $3,500 or even $4,000, I'll buy it. And then I'm going to have to move Marvel over there and move those or sell those. And then I'm going to move that one and that one over there. And then do Lord of the Rings right here. I'm trying to return that, and we'll just do him underneath Iron Man half scale again with his little tiny bust and not have a Wolverine display. So doing that, I will have to consolidate all my creatures to probably these 2 displays, and then do the 1/4 up here and down there, or I'll try to fit all the 1/4 up here and do the creatures down low. I'll figure it out, but for right now, it's staying like this. I don't need to move anything for a very, very long time. So I'm not going to move anything until Godzilla starts shipping in 2 to 3 years. So for now, it's going to stay here. This guy is very deep because, I mean, you want to display him at this angle, facing towards you, because obviously you want to see his face. This is the best angle to view everything. So, I mean, yes, it's wide, but it's really just more deep, I'll say, because of how far back that giant hammer hand goes. You know, if you were to measure it this way, it measures almost 3 feet. Measuring it, you know, this way, it is wide, yes, no doubt. And it also makes you wonder if you should put statues like right there, because, you know, you don't want to really block that hand, but it's also a lot of space to lose because of that. If anything, you could put a 1/6 scale statue there that would fit and look good. You know, because you already have 2 orcs. So you could easily put another 1/6 scale there if you wanted to, or some sort of creature of some sort. But the cave troll, I will say, I do like it more than those 2. The Balrog and Smog. I like both of those. Granted, they were quite a bit cheaper. I bought that Balrog for like $250 on a Weta Black Friday sale. Smog, I bought at retail. I think he was $6.99. And I do like both of those pieces quite a bit. But the Cave Troll is definitely better than both of them. It has a better presence. The details as good, if not better. Although I think Smog's detail is absolutely fantastic. But the Cave Troll is just as good, if not better. It definitely is, you know, it's much, much bigger and more presence and overall. So it's definitely the king of all the Weta creatures I own. I like it the most of everything down here. No doubt. The little orcs, let's check them out so you can get a good idea. So he has a nice glossy mouth. He looks well painted. The sword looks great. The shield looks great. Good weathering and paint job. The armor looks fantastic. You know, he's clearly running away from the cave troll because he's about to smash him. And this one's trying to maintain the cave troll because he's getting out of control. So he has those spikes so he can't remove it. And then this guy is holding it back. You can really see him, how he's struggling to maintain and control this. This one right here is actually the exact same as my Moria Orc above. You know, exact same armor, although his weapon is actually a spear, where his weapon is the exact same as this guy. You know, the sideshow one. Granted, his face sculpt is different than that one's unmasked face sculpt. Because obviously they're not all going to look the same, but these are what the orcs look like in the Mines of Moria. I will say the most detailed and best spot on the cave troll is definitely going to be that face. They nailed it, and it came out great in production. Looking at the photos of the prototype, the one area I do think that isn't as good as the prototype is the amount of like the transition from the back part where it's like that rocky to the inner part. You know, like it's there, but it's more prominent on the prototype. You know, like look at that guy, how different that is. That's how the prototype looked on the cave troll, where this one, it's more subtle. You know, it's definitely there, but it's not as big a drastic, you know, paint style to inner belly. Because on the cave troll, the inner belly and the inner arms are supposed to be much whiter, lighter colored, where it's not as prominent. I would have liked that. I think that's one area they failed, was the shading on the belly and the arms. So that's one area I would ding it. The other would probably be his belt satchel is too... I mean, it looks good and it's very detailed, but I think it should have been a deeper brown so it's more prominent. It almost, you know, like you almost can't see it because it kind of fades into the other colors. It's not as, you know, noticeable. So I think they could have did a better brown color there that's maybe a little bit more vibrant so you can really notice it. Kind of just blends in. So that's what I say the negative. I also think they could have did more with the base, maybe add some more weapons, maybe some human skulls, you know, sort of like how Iron Studios did theirs. I like the general design. It's just a little bit simplistic. You know, similar to this guy, his base is also very simplistic. So it does match, but I think they could have just added maybe a few human skulls, a few more weapons, maybe a column. You know, that kind of would have been cool. Maybe like a little tiny columns with some bones around it, maybe some more weapons. But overall, it is definitely an amazing piece. You know, I read that artwork on the art box where they talked about this piece. So Jamie is the original sculptor from Lord of the Rings. You know, J.R. Tolkien, they went out and commissioned Weta to do tons of things for the movie. And they told them to create a cave troll. They gave them an idea of what they want, and then they went out and created this. So Jamie sculpted this for the movie. And then here we are, you know, 20 plus years later, you know, Weta commissioned him to sculpt it again, you know, for us statue collectors. So the history behind this piece is definitely awesome. You know, knowing that the person who made it in the movie made this for me. I think that's awesome and amazing. Will we get a better cave troll out there? I mean, the story behind this cave troll won't be beat unless Weta decides to make a larger version. I'm certain Prime 1 will probably eventually make one. If they do, theirs will probably be larger scaled. I think it won't be a 1/4. I think it will be a non-scale, and it'll probably be similar to this in terms of size or maybe a little bit bigger. Prime 1 definitely does awesome work. Their Lord of the Rings line is amazing, and I'm definitely very tempted to get it, but I'm trying to stick to just Weta, Iron Studios, and Sideshow for now. Although if they make a Gimli, I definitely will cave on a Gimli. And if I get Gimli, I feel like, I might as well get Legolas and Aragorn, so I have all three Prime 1s. And then at that point, might as well go all in. So it's a tough one, no doubt. I definitely want to do it, but I wouldn't be able to get as many characters. I'm still waiting to see if they make Gandalf and Saruman and the Morgul Lord. If they make them, I'll probably have to go all in. So those are characters I absolutely want. But overall, this cave troll is definitely awesome, and I do love it. Very, very cool. Will I keep it? For now, definitely, absolutely. I'd only sell it probably if a better cave troll came out. I've seen in-hand pics, and I was looking at Iron Studios. It's good, but definitely not as good as this in terms of paint, quality, size, and pretty much everything. The only thing it has that, John, is I think the base is a little bit better. Otherwise, this is definitely the best cave troll released to date. I know there is the 1/4 custom from Philippines that came out a few years ago, which I almost bought. That one definitely has the size, but it's also made in the Philippines. So I've bought statues from the Philippines. It's very cheap material, cheap paint, and they don't look that good in real life. So that one I feel like would just be a space hog and wouldn't be nearly as good. Anyways, folks, that is basically it. Let me know your thoughts and comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day.